Well, hello YouTube. Here we are with a little bit of a video. Well, of course, following up the big hitch replacement on the Marathon trailer. Of course, comes of course the test drive, and well, that passed very well. Then of course comes, well, really the first large load that, the trailer hauls since it was, well, what we could call as rebuilt. Well, as you see there, the trailer, well, fared fairly well. Except, well, there's a little bit of damage right in here. Basically what happened was I was backing up with some 12-foot lumber in the truck, and the 12-foot lumber ended up basically jackknifing into the trailer. So pretty much it's tore the rivet out of here, bent right here. So what I got to do is pull all this ahead and then probably end up putting a rivet or two in there to keep it from, falling back in. Now, of course, normally it wouldn't really matter if it had a wrinkle in the corner, except with this kind of trailer, this top, front folds on up and latches pretty much onto these pins here. As well as it looks like, of course, it's slightly leaned in. So, of course, we'll have to probably pull it out just a bit, rough it out, and, well, see how she works. Worst case scenario, I could take the good side down to the tin shop, have them bend me up some sides for this here trailer, make them whatever it would be, 6-8 inches taller, so therefore it's a deeper box, because there are times where sometimes I need a little deeper sides, and the wooden ones that I have are getting, really weathered. So of course, let's go select our weapon of choice, and, well, let's get at her. Okay guys, so there we go. Of course, as you've seen there, we roughed out the damage, of course. I have not put in pop rivets or nothing yet, just was making sure it was going to close. I will have to pull the side out a bit pretty much each time I go to latch it. It's just the way she is. But we need to put a rivet, of course, there, another one there, and of course, the one on the inside. I might drill a third hole, just kind of right there in the middle, because now it's weakened or damaged. It needs to be supported. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward fix. When you have a trailer, sometimes it requires maintenance. Sometimes you have what I would call accidents, I suppose, with the trailer. Whether you got to change a fender out or replace a bent rim or a flat tire, or in this particular trailer, it's held together with pop rivets and maybe about 6 or 8 bolts. I've never seen such a cheaply manufactured trailer as these ones here. For the average person, it's probably okay. But if you use it at all heavy, like I have, then you end up, having to replace the tongue of the trailer, and every few months you got to go through the trailer and check for any blown out pop rivets, and make sure you run the rivets back in, because, well, when rivets are all holding the trailer together, you can't afford to lose more than, one or two, right? So pretty much, guys, I'm going to gear up the old drill, and yeah, let's run in some rivets. Now, of course, every time you bend pretty much anything, and straighten it, it'll never be quite as strong as what it once was. Now, of course, if this was an actual real trailer, with welds and such, I would have just fired up the welder and re-welded it. Of course, this is a galvanized unit, and my welder is not set up to weld galvanized, nor really should you weld galvanized unless you're got the proper facilities. So of course, let's flip down the gate, and then we will run the one in on the front side. Okay guys, so now we got the first two in. Time for the third one. Of course, on that side there, as you see, it's torn basically. So what I got to do is drill that pop rivet out that's in there, and then I'm going to have to put a washer basically to hold the tin back over top of the pop rivet. Okay, so now your standard pop rivet washer is way too small. So of course we got to use a plate washer. I know it's a little bit big and ugly, but that's kind of the only way. So after you've bent the tin back to where she should be, pretty much time to run the washer in. So let's close her up again, and we'll see if all this was worth it. So of course, pulling her back, pulling her out just a little. Well guys, there we go. Pretty much fixed that damage to the trailer. I only put 3 rivets in there. I was going to put a 4th one if the tin didn't suck back into the square tubing. So I was going to put a 3rd one in there if the tin didn't suck back into the framework there, but it seemed to do what it was supposed to do. So I guess we can call that one good. Ended up having to wash her, of course, the inside there where the tin tore away from the rivet, but I guess that's expected. Again, if this was a real trailer, I would have put a tack weld there or something like that just to have held it a little better, but pretty much about as good as she's going to get for this here trailer, and pretty much away we go. Not really expecting this trailer to last, another, 10 years or nothing like that. But at the same time, it's got to last and be safe for as long as I have her. But that's pretty much, fixing the damage from the big, project there. Getting her going for another little while. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.